Hey everybody, Ryan here with Ray's latest, and today we're going to talk about Carson Williams getting 2 hits off of Framber Valdez today in the game against the Detroit Tigers, where we ended up tying 4-4 in that game, as well as just some notable updates on some different random things and kind of tidbits around, as well as some World Baseball Classic updates and some other spring training updates. First, just want to talk about Carson Williams. Had 2 hits today off of Framber Valdez, which brings his spring average up to 368. His OBP's at a 381 with the slugging at 474. So you're looking around close to a 900 OPS and playing good defensive shortstop. It is good for the Rays, obviously. And we've seen Taylor Walls kind of hit a little bit of a streak here the past couple of games he's played where he's putting the bat on the ball and he's getting on base, he's getting base hits, and seeing Carson Williams do this as well. Granted, like I've said multiple times, it is all very small sample sizes with all of these players. So it's nothing to really kind of jump out at and kind of just be super excited about, but just to see the progress that these two have made over the start of this spring it is great to see, and I'm excited to kind of see how they translate all this over to the regular season. And then I'm in turn with that, I'm very curious to kind of see how Kevin Cash deals, because in my opinion, if Gavin Lux is kind of entering this spring, he hasn't played yet. He's kind of limbering around with this undisclosed injury per se that he's been dealing with. If Carson Williams and Taylor Walls can both perform hitting wise, I'm not necessarily ever going to be worried about Taylor Walls' defense and or Carson Williams' defense ever. So the defensive aspect's not a problem. Like, you can put them out there for 162 games and you're going to get some of the best defensive shortstop play that you're going to get. It's just the bat has always been the question mark. And granted, Taylor Walls has kind of had this longer stint in the major leagues where he's getting contract extensions and things of that nature. Carson Williams, kind of baby to the MLB, he's kind of fresh into it. If they're able to hit, I don't see a world where you could keep both of them out of the lineup. And the reason why I say this is because if Gavin Lux is a big question mark, which I think he is at this point, I do think he's gonna progress a little bit from what he did in Cincinnati. But with the injuries, with things of that nature that he's kind of been dealing with, if they're both hitting, Williams and Walls, I don't see a world where Kevin Cash kind of doesn't throw a question mark out there of, hey, let's play both of them. Let's have one play second and one play short. Which one that's going to be, I don't know. I think the question mark for me, and if that situation were to come up, is just Carson Williams' ability to translate over to second base. I don't really think Taylor Walls would have necessarily a problem with that, and he has more of the size and the stature of a second baseman, whereas Carson Williams is a little bigger. So you would typically you would want the bigger guy to be playing shortstop just from a physicality standpoint, but Taylor Walls makes shortstop look fine with his size anyways. So I would be really curious to kind of see how Kevin Cash approaches that and see how he kind of goes down the line if that were to be a possibility in the near future. Because neither of them are playing third, neither of them are playing first. Yandy's going to be DHing. So at that point, it's just a logjam. And if Gavin Lux is playing well, then you can only play one of them. Unless you decide you want to throw Carson Williams in left or right field, which I think is a horrible idea. That's the only way that you would get both of them to play. And especially if both of them continue to perform the way they are performing from a hitting perspective, it's going to be hard to keep them both happy and keep them both consistently performing if you're kind of just going on and off. So we'll kind of see how that goes, if that is ever going to be a possibility, which I could see it being a decent possibility if Gavin Lux remains this big question mark as he is. So we'll kind of see how that goes and see how that translates to things like that. But the next thing I want to talk about is kind of just some little notable updates. Shane McClanahan had his second start of the spring today. A little shaky, only went 2 1/3. Two and a third, three hits, three earned, one walk, three Ks with a homer given up. He did give up a single to Riley Green in the first inning, and in turn, Peck hit a two-run homer off of him in the second inning of work. He came back out for the third, got an out, and then was removed for Whitley. It's whatever. I mean, obviously, you don't like to see your Cy Young contender pitcher Shane McClanahan give up three earned and two and a third, but it happens. It's baseball. I think the good thing to see is that the walk numbers are low. The K rate's kind of where you want that at, above a 9 into that 10 11 K per 9 era. He's just rehabbing. He's returning. There's nothing really to worry about with him there. Just getting him acclimated to being back on the mound, back in situations like that. It's going to be good for him, and I'm kind of glad to just see him back on the mound pitching and keeping that same arsenal of pitches that he has with the same stuff and pitchability that he's always been able to have. So nothing really concerning there with him. Just it was the three earned over the two and a third. So it wasn't the best outing, but it's nothing to really just kind of freak out on. He'll be fine. He'll pitch again later this week, maybe early next week, and we'll kind of see how that translates into the rest of the season. But some other kind of tidbits I want to talk about, just from an injury standpoint. Simpson obviously has had the hamstring problem. Mullins, back tightness. Gavin Lux, also injured. There's nothing really to kind of be concerned about with him. Simpson's kind of made some starts here and there, and he has had that hamstring problem, so they're kind of just taking it slow with him. Mullins, same thing. He's been playing a little bit. He should be back full ready to go late half of this week, early next week. Gavin Lux hopefully will be back in the fold later this week, early next week. Kind of see how that translates into some further things with him. Kind of just being able to get him to see live pitching and things of that nature in game situations is what we want, and kind of just continue to just rehab, get better, and then get back in the fold with the guys and kind of just see how he performs. And the last thing I'll talk about, Cam Booster, non-roster guy. He's thrown 5 straight scoreless outings, which he's been 95, 96 with a fastball, and he looks good. Kyle Snyder says that he will pitch every other day this week, which for a reliever is kind of what you're going to need in the season. So being a non-roster invite. The kind of the hopes of him coming into the spring weren't really too high, but obviously if you perform at the highest level that you can perform at and you are really good at it, there's going to be question marks kind of brought up of, okay, we can't keep this guy off the opening day roster. He's been great for us, kind of things like that. And I think that 5 straight scoreless outings for him is kind of a step in the right direction towards that. So there could be possibilities that we do see him on the opening day roster if he keeps this up. And if not, he'll be in AAA to start the year. Really quick call-up opportunity there for him. He might be one of the first guys from a reliever perspective that kind of gets that phone call to come pitch in the big leagues for the Rays in the season kind of early on. So we'll kind of keep track of him, see how he goes. Pitching every other day this week, we should see plenty of opportunities for him to perform, see if he can kind of keep this trend that he's going on, and hopefully he keeps that performance up, and the sky's the limit for him with that. But you guys let me know what you guys think about the whole Carson Williams, Taylor Walls debate, as well as any concerns you have with Shane McClanahan's outing today, and any other tidbits, question marks, anything like that you have, please let me know, and you guys have a great one.